Hey everybody, Mega Ruler 31 back here for FSi DFS. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It's Monday. We have a really nice 8-game slate here. And when we get to the end of the video, when I built my DK cash lineup, I had to go pour cold water on myself because I could not believe what I could get in it today. I was like in just disbelief. It was almost like I was playing on FanDuel. Then I did go and build my FanDuel one, and that was much harder. So it's kind of weird that's kind of reversed like that today. So well, we'll get to that. So MLB, it's crazy weekend. I think Toronto, I can't wait for the All-Star game to come fast enough. They're only like 2 games away from the bottom of the division because the Orioles are actually surging. So it's crazy. Like Pittsburgh's getting better. Like Detroit's putting up runs out of nowhere. Just crazy, crazy time. So last week of baseball, Sunday ends things and they go on the All-Star break. So let's one last chance to make some money and before we get a little bit of a rest and then go for like the home stretch of the season. So let's get into today's slate. No weather concerns, which is pretty cool. First game we'll start out with is Chicago White Sox and Cleveland Guardians. Slate starts at 7:10, so you got like 5 more minutes to tinker with your lineups tonight. So Lance Lynn's third start, I think, coming back from being injured. First one went fine. Second one did not go very well against, I believe, it was Minnesota. Got Quintrell on the other side here. It's going to be 88 degrees here in Cleveland, wind blowing out 11 miles per hour. So it's pretty good hitting conditions. So Lance Lynn, I think you can play him in the medium range. Quintrell on the other side, same. But I think both offenses are pretty decent here too. So Chicago, I mean, there's like 3. You've got Coors Field, so obviously San Diego and Colorado, we'll get to that, are going to be a top stack. Texas is a very, very good spot here also. So I think Chicago White Sox would come in third on the lineup here. On the other side, Cleveland, I think, is probably my second favorite GPP team if Lynn isn't ready yet. So I don't know if I'd stack the whole one. I might go with pretty much like Quan and J Ram and maybe sprinkle in some of the righties. I don't know about Reyes, righty on righty, and Lynn is decent against righties. Jimenez probably, but you got some like weird guys like Nolan Jones in here. He's a lefty. So and I guess with Quintrell, I think you can play him in GPPs in the mid-range here. Just he's good against righties, so you got to see what lineup comes out here because I'm looking at the projected one and it only really looks like they're going to have one true lefty in Sheets and then like the switch hitters in Moncada and Garcia. So we'll have to see what's going on with them. If it is a righty heavy lineup, then I might consider him. I think he could be sneaky. Next up, we go to Fenway. Or no, we don't go to Fenway. We actually go from Fenway because they played series there, and then we go to Tampa Bay, which is much better pitchers park than hitters park. Bello makes a second start. Super high on him last time. This guy's got electric stuff. It just, I don't know if he had the yips or nerves or whatever, but it just didn't transpire in the first one. This Tampa Bay is a much better matchup. It's a much better park here, and Franco's out of the lineup for like 6 to 8 weeks with like a bone chip or something he needed removed or something like that. So that's another bat gone. So you know, that's a big bat out of the lineup. So Tampa Bay still has some decent hitters, but mostly like they're better against lefties. So I don't think you need Bello here at 5K, but if you want to try him again in a GPP, I think, you know, maybe his ownership will be way down because of last time. Maybe people will go back to the well and realize like what talent he is. I don't know. So I think he's an option. So probably the best one in the cheap range. Then for Tampa Bay, it looks like they're going to have Whistler open and Josh Fleming's going to come in. I'm just not going to avoid this situation. Fleming is not really good against righties, so I really like the Boston righties here in a GPP once they get past the opener. And then Tampa Bay, I think, would probably be my favorite cheap stack here, especially the lefties. If you want to, depending on how many they throw out there, you could probably mix some righties in too because they'll get the Boston bullpen after that. And I think, you know, if they can put up some runs against Bello, and doesn't seems like he was giving up runs to everybody in his first outing. So I think they make an interesting GPP stack. Philadelphia and the Cardinals, only a 7.5 total here. It's 96 degrees, wind's blowing out a little bit in St. Louis. So it looks like it's good hitting weather, but you have two decent pitchers here. You have Aaron Nola, who's been pretty much matchup proof, very solid this season, and Mikolas, who has been actually really good against right-handed batters also. And I know Schwarber's been pretty much on fire, and Hall's been doing decent, but really beyond that, Gregorius and Stott don't scare me. So I think both pitchers are in play here, especially Nola being really solid against righties. I know, let's see if Gorman's back in the lineup. He's been a little banged up, but there's a left-handed bat they might be missing. Olsen, Carlson's a switch hitter. I mean, you have Edmund in there, but like Corey Dickerson, Newt Barr, not super scary people here. So I think Nola's definitely in play. I think we'll get to it, but I think Scherzer is going to be like most people's SP1, but I think Nola's definitely in the equation, and I'll get to it right now. The Coors, especially the Padres, are so underpriced that you can play both Scherzer and Nola and still like your lineup. It's just unbelievable on DK tonight. St. Louis on the other side, I think, definitely makes a really good leverage stack. And then Philly, I think, would just be in GPPs. I'd target, like I said, the left-handed power bats here of like Hall and Schwarber, probably, maybe mix in some of the other ones. So New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. So in Atlanta, wind blowing in 81 degrees. So it's a little bit cooler for Atlanta than normal. But Scherzer, I know the Braves are a very, very good lineup, but they do have some strikeouts. And Scherzer has some very good strikeout stuff. He looks good coming back from injury. He's a workhorse. Like, he will fight to stay out as long as he possibly can. So I don't worry about a pitch counter or short leash on him. So really like him here as your SP1. Freeze on the other side. He's been solid this year and consistent. So I think you can play him up there with Scherzer and Nola. I know the Mets are a hard matchup. They're very patient. They don't strike out a lot. But I think that he definitely is somebody to look at. And I think just both these, like Atlanta would probably be the ultimate, just with their power and everything, but their power comes from mostly from the right-handed side. So I think you could play them as a leverage stack here, and the same thing as the Mets, but I wouldn't play them in cash either side here. Oakland Athletics and the Texas Rangers, you have Adrian Martinez, who's a pretty poor pitcher, and Spencer Howard, I've seen Otto also here, but I think either one of them in the cheap range if you need to. I prefer just to pay down for Bello just because of what he has. I know he hasn't shown it yet, but I like the matchup a little bit better there. So I think you can play a Texas pitcher if you want to pivot off, if you think Bello's going to have like some ownership again. Bat wise, Texas is like my third favorite stack on the slate here. Lefties and the righties, but like Smith leading off at 3.2 is a decent price. He's super cheap on FanDuel. Corey Seager, low. Even Calhoun and Brad Miller if they move up. Traveris, like you've got a lot of. Might do like a wraparound stack here. Like there's just so many options. Simeon hits both sides of the plate decent too, and Martinez is just a bad pitcher. So play who you want to from Texas. They're a really good stack tonight, and really actually make some good fill-in plays even with the Coors lineup. A's on the other side too. They're super cheap also. You kind of have to use them on FanDuel just because San Diego is priced up if you want to play a top-end pitcher. So I don't mind them. I think Seth Brown would be kind of like my favorite here. Maybe Massini leading off. Maybe Voigt. I'm pretty much looking for like the lefties against Howard there as fill-ins. Next up, we have Detroit and Kansas City. This is not on FanDuel. It's the second half of a doubleheader. Looks like Fado against Daniel Lynch coming off of the IL. He was out the minimum 15 days that he had to be out. He only had a blister. They say he's perfectly fine. No workload restrictions there. So Fado is absolutely a fade. Definitely not playing him. Lynch is interesting. I think I looked at the showdown pricing. I think he's in the wrong category there. He's in the high. I don't think he is. I think he's only like 7K. So he'd probably be over in like the cheaper one, which is fine. but I think he's okay. I like him, any pitcher against Detroit, but Detroit can throw out there so many like right-handed batters, and Riley Green has been decent against both sides of the plate. There as a lefty, so I think Detroit just definitely makes interesting cheap stack here. Baez, if you want to one off at shortstop, if you can afford him, I think is a really good play. Kansas City on the other side, I think another cheap stack that you can absolutely load up. It's just a shame that these two are not on FanDuel because they would have helped so much with the San Diego stack and a top pitcher. But on DK also, like, go ahead and fill in any of these, guys against Fado, lefties, righties, whatever. I think it's definitely a really good play. And I know Merrifield and Witt are up there, but the rest of the guys are really relatively cheap usually. Okay, now we're into Coors Field. San Diego Padres and Colorado Rockies. Sean Manaea, usually a good pitcher. Maybe you take a chance against him, but throws a lot of sinker balls, and they don't really sink as much in the air here in Colorado. And Colorado is really good against left-handed pitching. So he's a fade here. And Urena, don't know why he's still in Major League Baseball. Probably the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball, potentially. Total gas can. So Padres, by far the top stack, and the pricing is egregiously bad and low on them. This is not Coors Field pricing. You have Grissom potentially leading off at 2.9. You have Manny Machado, who should probably be like 6K at Coors Field, is 4.9. You have Cronenworth, who is a lefty against a righty here at only 4.1. He was up at 6K a couple weeks ago. I know he cooled off, but still he could heat right back up here. Voigt, not super keen on the righty-righty matchup, but I think I think I'm going to leave him out of the stack. But Hosmer here, lefty, kills righties, especially a bad righty in Coors Field. It's only 2.1K. What are we doing here, DK? Mazzara probably batting 6 is minimum price at a lefty. And then, the rest of the guys in the lineup too are all 3K or less. So just play them. Just play them. You can get a 5-person stack here and pay up for 2 pitchers and still have like 3 or 4K to fill out the rest of your lineups. Not even like dumpster diving. It's crazy. Rockies on the other side, a little bit higher priced. Have to watch for injuries here. I don't know if Cron, he was day-to-day. Bryant got pulled for cramping. He should be okay. So we'll have to see like how the lineup plays out, but definitely the righties here. Joe, Brian, I'd even take Blackman. Like if Manaea is not going to be there, we'll get the Padres bullpen. Brendan Rodgers. I think your choice between Blackman and Grichuk. I don't know if I play McMahon here. He usually bats out further in the order and doesn't have the splits. But then again, like if Dawson moves up and bats second, that's fine. Also, Hampson, I don't mind him, especially a shortstop eligible in DK, and that helps out with like a lot of stacks. And he's super, super cheap at 2.2. So if he cracks the lineup, then that's awesome. Really like that there. In the final game, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks and San Francisco Giants. Ramiro Kelly, who's decent, I think he's in the 7K range, and Cobb also. So definitely like Cobb better here because like the Giants like have a lot of lefty power. They're starting to get healthy. So Bell's back in the lineup. Brandon Crawford's back in the lineup. I think they could throw like so many lefties here at him. Cobb on the other side, like if you look at his like season numbers, they've been bad, but he just had some bad matchups and some just bad luck early, but like recent form has been really good. I know that there's some lefties here like Rojas and Marte and Alex Thomas and Peralta and Varsho that they can like definitely throw at him, but they only have a 3.52 total. And I think that definitely this is more of like a pitcher's park. So I think that he can definitely have a good game, and he's probably like my favorite GPP pitcher. I think he's a decent option if you want to go down to Cobb on FanDuel to get San Diego in and some decent bats. I think you can even, if you play him, it helps with the lineup build. So let's get to some lineup builds and we'll get you on your day for a Monday. See here. So like I said, I'm taking Max, Hosmer, Cronenworth, Machado, Grissom, Mazzara. Take those 5 if they're in the lineup. And then you can pretty much, you can play NOLA there. You still have plenty of things. Texas fits in there. Kansas City fits in there. You can throw some Colorado guys in there to finish off your stack. Like there's just so many options to go on DK. A little bit higher, like I said, on FanDuel, you probably want Max or Nola there. Hosmer, Cronenworth, Machado, Grissom. If you want to drop down off Machado and play Mazzara and outfield, that does open up some salary. But you're going to be looking for probably, I don't know, I couldn't really find a stack. You might be able to get like 2 San Francisco outfielders in there, probably like Peterson or Wade or I think is a little bit more expensive, but like Smith as a shortstop there for Texas is good, or Brown from Oakland, or the shortstop for Oakland. So I'm probably looking for some cheap fill-ins for here, just to get that San Diego guy, get the top pitcher, and then just fill in with some value guys. There's so many cheap guys that are leading off that fill in these positions. If you find something that correlates, then great, that's even better. But that's where I'm going for FanDuel. And for DK, going to take Frieder Cobb. You probably take both of them and still get this Colorado stack in. And then again, you can fill in with Texas here. The nice thing is Jay Smith is pretty cheap and he's third base eligible, so he works there. Or maybe he's first base eligible. I can't remember. No, I think I would put Low at first base there, and then you got your choice of catcher there, and then whatever pitcher. If you want to throw in like Hosmer and Machado here also and finish off the stack and punt catcher, then that works also. You might have to go down to Bello as your SP2 there, or play like Cobb and Kelly or Lynn or somebody like in the mid-range. It's GPP, so you can take a little bit more risk here. For FanDuel, Cobb, it's the pitcher, and then I'm going with a Texas build. I can get most of them in, and I probably might have to just punt one position to make it work. On FanDuel, if you want to play a full core stack, then take Bello as your pitcher, punt shortstop. Like you can't even get up to Smith. I think you need to go to with a minimum price guy. Probably have to take the A's guy, who I think is like 2K or 2-1, and then you can get everybody you want from the game and all the other positions. So that's what we're going with today. Appreciate you watching. Mega Ruler 31. You can hit me up with Twitter if you have any questions, or leave some comments in the chat below. Always check back around like 6:30 just in case something changes, like weather, pitching, or any factors. So we leave you some updates there. If you want some more information on FSi DFS, you can go into the bio of the video, and there's all the information to sign up there. Our pricing is very, very cheap. It's very, very reasonable for like everything that we offer. And I think I did mention before that we're trying to start a podcast too based on these videos. So if you don't have time to watch them, you can listen to them in the car or on the go. We're still working that out. So as soon as that's up and running, we'll either mention the video or put in the comments. So thanks again for watching. Appreciate it. Please like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so you know our videos are coming out. And good luck in your contest today. And we'll see you next time.